CARICOM Small Cap Breaking News, your daily go-to source for the best small cap headlines for over 65 million investors since 2007. Today, we're diving deep into some really breaking news from the small cap world. We're cutting straight to the raw data, the critical drilling results, these significant financial milestones, the stuff that demands your attention as an investor, like right now. Yeah, our mission today is basically to cut through all the noise. We want to zoom right in on the actual numbers and the strategic implications from 5 companies making some serious waves. We're talking real, tangible results. These aren't just headlines. They could actually compel you to do some much deeper research. Think of this as your essential briefing. Should give you a bit of an edge.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here is how these individual company announcements, they seem distinct, right? But they connect to these much broader, really powerful themes. We're talking about the global push for, critical mineral independence, the accelerating energy transition, and that rapidly evolving landscape of healthcare tech. So we'll explore not just what happened, but really why it matters for the bigger picture and, what that might signal for future market shifts.
Okay, first up, let's hit the ground running. First, Atlantic Nickel Corp, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol FAN. The headline reads, First Atlantic Nickel confirms longest mineralized drill interval to date at RPM zone strengthens case for domestic nickel supply chain. Pretty strong headline.
Okay.
Let's unpack this a bit. This company, they're reporting their most significant exploration result yet from their Atlantic Nickel project over in Newfoundland. We're talking a record-breaking 447.35 meters of continuous nickel mineralization. Yeah, to put that in perspective, that's like 4.5 football fields long, something like 1,467 feet straight down. Consistent nickel. It's their longest and deepest intercept so far.
And, what makes this really compelling isn't just the sheer length, though that's obviously impressive. It's the quality. The grades they found within that huge interval. We're seeing strong average grades, 1.27% nickel and 1.69% chromium in the magnetic concentrate. Now, but for anyone tracking the industry, a nickel grade over 1%, over that kind of width, that's considered excellent.
Yeah.
Really excellent, especially for a large-scale bulk tonnage type deposit.
Right.
And total nickel recovery hit 51.84% with, get this, peak recoveries soaring up to 81.4%. That kind of consistency across the RPM zone. They're averaging 1.38% nickel in concentrate over the first 5 holes they reported. It doesn't just validate the deposit scalability, it also confirms it's suitable for a low-emission processing method, which raises a pretty crucial question, doesn't it? What does this really mean for North America's clean energy transition, for securing those vital resources?
And here's where it gets really strategic, I think. They're not just dealing with any old nickel. They're focusing on awaruite nickel. Now, for our listeners, awaruite, it's a naturally occurring nickel-iron alloy. It's different from the more common sulfide or laterite ores. And the unique benefit, the really valuable part, is it can be magnetically concentrated directly without needing that energy-intensive, high-emission smelting.
That's a huge advantage.
Huge. Think of it like, using a giant magnet to pull the valuable nickel out of crushed rock instead of melting everything down in a massive furnace. This lines up perfectly with the new U.S. EV tax credit rules, and it offers a critical domestic alternative, especially when you think China controls, like 80% of global nickel refining?
Yeah, around that much. It's a bottleneck.
Exactly. So Robert Guzman, he's the head of investor relations over there, he called this, and I quote, a landmark drill hole. He confirmed the RPM zone is growing with exceptional consistency and high metallurgical recoveries, which he says are precisely the characteristics that investors and future end users are looking for. This feels like a pretty significant development for North American critical mineral independence.
Absolutely. A big step.
Okay, shifting gears now. Let's talk about another critical mineral, copper this time. Osisko Metals Incorporated, trading symbol OM on the TSX Venture Exchange. Their headline, Osisko Metals unveils major copper intercepts at Gaspé project, strengthening strategic position in North America's critical metals push. And talk about a major step forward, Osisko Metals is reporting some truly impressive drill results from its Gaspé copper project. That's in eastern Quebec. We're looking at intercepts like a massive 730.7 meters, averaging 0.29% copper.
Wow, over 700 meters.
Yeah, and another interval of 754.5 meters at 0.24% copper. Specifically, hole 30, Toyan 96, that one showed 730.7 meters at 0.29% copper. But it included an even richer zone, 334.7 meters at 0.39% copper. That's one of their longest continuous intercepts ever.
Okay, so this brings up an important question about, well, the sheer scale here and the potential economics, right? I mean, the Gaspé project itself, it's legendary. It used to be Canada's largest copper mine east of Ontario. It already has a substantial existing resource base. We're talking 824 million tons of indicated resources averaging 0.34% copper equivalent, plus another 670 million tons of inferred resources averaging 0.38% copper equivalent.
A lot of tons.
It is. And just for context, indicated resources have more geological confidence than inferred. They're better defined, more likely to be economic. Now, what's really compelling about these new drill results is they seem to be extending this resource base, both through infill drilling, kind of firming things up, and by finding new zones, especially deeper down. And the timing on this, it's incredibly good. Copper prices are hovering near multi-year highs, right? Driven by all the demand for EVs, renewable energy stuff, general electrification.
Right. So what does this all mean for, someone listening, maybe a potential investor, or just someone tracking the whole energy transition?
Right.
Well, CEO Robert Wares noted these new results expand the deposit further south and at depth, and he's predicting significant new tonnage for their next resource estimate. Plus, the project itself has some really strong strategic advantages. It's in Quebec, low geopolitical risk, generally speaking.
Stable jurisdiction.
Yeah, exactly. It's close to existing U.S. and Canadian smelters, which is a huge logistical and cost plus. And potential alignment with the U.S. Inflation Reduction Act goals. That could unlock some serious incentives.
And don't forget the byproducts.
Good point. Yeah, you got added value from silver and molybdenum byproducts, which helps the overall economics. So it's not just a copper story. It feels like a strategic play for North American resource security, too.
Definitely looks that way.
Okay, let's pivot sharply now. A totally different sector. Healthcare technology. Healwell AI Inc., trading on the TSX, symbol AIDX. They just announced this. Healwell AI achieves breakthrough quarter with record revenue and first ever positive adjusted EBITDA.
That's a headline that catches the eye.
It really is. This is a huge financial and strategic milestone for Healwell AI. They reported a massive, get this, 645% year-over-year increase in revenue from continuing operations for Q2 2025. Hit $40.5 million. That's up from just $5.4 million last year.
6 times growth, basically. That's explosive.
Absolutely. And here's the real kicker. The turning point. Their first ever positive adjusted EBITDA, $1.9 million. Now, for listeners, adjusted EBITDA, it basically gives you a cleaner look at core operational profit, right? Strips out non-cash stuff like depreciation, one-time costs.
Exactly. It's a good measure of underlying performance.
So going from a $3.7 million loss last year to a $1.9 million profit this year, that's a sharp turnaround, a really strong indicator of financial health, scalability for a growth company like this. Plus, gross profit surged 764% to $21.3 million, and they've got a healthy $19 million cash position.
Okay, so what's driving this? What's fascinating here is the strategic move they made. This wasn't just organic growth, or not by a long shot. It was largely driven by their acquisition of Orion Health back in April. And this acquisition, it's not just about adding revenue, although Orion Health is projected to bring in about $100 million annually in SaaS and services revenue.
That's significant in itself.
It is. But crucially, it added over 70 enterprise clients globally and gave Healwell, well, basically one of the world's most sophisticated healthcare data infrastructures. Think of it like they didn't just build a few new roads, they acquired a major highway system for healthcare data.
Ah, okay. Good analogy.
Yeah, and that infrastructure is absolutely foundational. It positions them to scale up their AI-driven preventative care solutions much, much faster. They now own a big piece of the network, meaning they can deploy their AI applications more widely, tackling things like early disease detection, proactive health management.
Makes sense. And the CEO, James Lee, he emphasized that, saying, with Orion Health now part of our ecosystem, we gain access to one of the world's most advanced healthcare data infrastructures. The CFO, Anthony Lamb, also added, with $19 million in cash, we are well positioned to drive both organic and inorganic growth. And what's also interesting is their focus. They're actually divesting other non-core units to become a pure-play, high-margin AI software company.
Yeah, that shows real strategic clarity, doubling down on their core strength now with Orion.
Right. Okay, moving on, back to the metals side, gold sector this time. Solstice Gold Corp, trading on the TSX Venture, symbol SGC. They've just unveiled this. Solstice Gold unveils high-grade discovery at Strathy Project in Ontario.
High grade is always good to hear in gold.
Especially for a first drill program, right?
Yeah.
At their Strathy Gold Project, that's in northeastern Ontario, Solstice hit a high-grade gold discovery at their Red Cedar target. the numbers. 8.52 grams per ton, gold over 3.5 meters. And within that, an impressive intercept of 28.7 grams per ton over 1 meter.
Okay, 28.7 gramming C, even over a meter, that's exceptional grade. Anything over 5 gram is generally considered high grade, so yeah, that's a standout number.
Definitely. And this significant hit comes from a previously untested area. It's over a kilometer east of their known Lekki target zone. So expansion potential.
Right. And this raises that important question about the region's, untapped potential. The Strathi project is in the Timagami Greenstone Belt. Now, that belt is part of the world-famous Abitibi subprovince.
The Abitibi. Big name in gold.
Huge name. One of Earth's richest, most prolific gold-producing areas ever. Millions and millions of ounces. But this specific part of the belt where Solstice is working, historically it's been pretty underexplored. So the success of their very first drill campaign, or the 3,120 meters, 13 holes, it clearly paid off. It shows there's strong potential for multiple zones of high-grade stuff. The CEO, Pablo McDonald, he put it perfectly, didn't he? We're only scratching the surface in this underexplored part of the legendary Abitibi.
Yeah, that quote sums it up. Suggests there could be a lot more hidden value there.
In a proven geological setting, too. That's key.
Okay, and finally, let's talk silver. Another critical mineral, obviously, with rapidly growing industrial demand, especially for energy tech. Argenta silver, symbol AGAG, also TSX Venture. They've had a truly record-setting intercept. The headline, Argenta Silver Strikes Record-Setting Silver Intercept at El Cavar Project in Argentina.
Record-setting. Okay, let's hear it.
This is genuinely a breakthrough moment for them at their El Cavar project down in Argentina. We are talking about an intercept of an astonishing 1,026 grams per ton of silver over 40 meters.
Whoa. Over 40 meters, 1,026 grams. That's incredible. A kilo of silver per ton, basically.
Exactly. Incredibly rich for a bulk intercept like that. And within that 40 meters, they hit a jaw-dropping 18,467 grams per ton of silver over 1.05 meters.
18,000?
18,467. It's not just high grade, it's the highest silver assay ever recorded at the entire project.
Yeah.
In another hole nearby, QVD 413, that intersected a very robust 414 grams per ton silver over 14.35 meters.
Okay, those numbers are absolutely going to grab attention.
No doubt.
And if we connect this to the the bigger geological picture, these exceptional grades, they're characteristic of what's called a high sulfidation epithermal system. Now, for listeners, these specific geological systems, they're known globally for hosting some of the world's richest, highest grade silver deposits. What makes this even more significant is that less than 3% of the massive 57,000 hectare El Cavar property has seen modern exploration.
So this record hit is in a basically unexplored area.
Pretty much untouched by modern techniques, yeah. And high grades plus near-surface potential, that's gold for miners, well, silver in this case. It means less rock to move, less energy, operations potentially start sooner. It all translates to lower development costs and hopefully a faster path to revenue.
Makes sense.
The CEO, Joaquin Marias, he highlighted that the extraordinary tenor of the Gaspé mineralization highlights the strength and scale of the hydrothermal system that formed El Cavar, which suggests, the potential for a very large, very rich system overall.
And this discovery timing, it's incredibly timely, isn't it? Silver's role in solar panels, EVs, all sorts of electronics makes it indispensable, a critical mineral for the future.
Absolutely critical.
And as industrial and energy uses keep outpacing global supply, you have to think discoveries like this one at Yaxche, they're going to attract growing interest from institutional investors, strategic partners, anyone looking to lock down future supplies of this vital metal.
You'd certainly expect so. Those grades are hard to ignore.
Well, that was a pretty rapid but hopefully deep dive into some really impactful small cap news across some key sectors today. From critical minerals, powering the future of energy and transport to these transformative advances in healthcare AI.
Yeah.
We've definitely seen some compelling data, stuff that really stands out.
It really does. And this whole deep dive, it kind of raises an important question for all of us, doesn't it? How do these individual success stories, whether it's in finding resources or innovating in tech, how do they contribute to those bigger trends? Like global supply chain resilience, fundamental technological advancement. What does it all really mean for the future of resource independence or sustainable industry or even preventative healthcare as we look down the road?
Good questions to ponder. And as always, these are just the headlines, the key facts, really. designed to get you started, highlight where the really compelling news is breaking. So for those of you listening who are looking to align your research with, the future of EVs or clean energy, domestic resource security, maybe the digital health landscape, we strongly encourage you go do your deep research into these specific companies. That's all for this deep dive into Agoracom small cap breaking news. Thanks for joining us.